The stars looked peaceful through the viewport of the Indomitable. Commander Daiho stood on the bridge, watching the endless black ocean of space. His crew worked quietly at their stations. This was supposed to be a simple mission. They were just supposed to look around the Andara sector and return home. Nothing dangerous. Nothing complicated. Daiho was 32 years old and had been in the Terran Defense Fleet for 12 years. He had short black hair and tired eyes. People said he was a genius at battle tactics, but he never felt like one. He just tried to keep his people alive. That was all any good commander could do. "Commander, we're picking up something on long-range sensors," said Captain Heejin from her station. She was his second in command and had served with him for 5 years. They trusted each other completely. "What is it?" Daiho asked, walking over to look at her screen. "It's big. Really big. Bigger than anything we've ever built," Heijin said. Her voice was calm, but Daiho could hear the worry underneath. "And it's not in our database. This is something new." Daiho felt his stomach tighten. New meant unknown. Unknown meant dangerous. Send a standard greeting message. All frequencies. Let them know we come in peace. The communications officer nodded and sent the message. They waited. The Indomitable had 3 escort ships with them. The Morning Star, the Guardian, and the Horizon. Together they made a small fleet. Not much, but enough for a simple patrol mission. The massive alien ship grew larger on their screens as they got closer. It was unlike anything humans had ever seen. The hull was dark purple and seemed to shimmer like oil on water. Strange symbols covered its surface. It had sharp angles and curved sections that shouldn't fit together but somehow did. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "Still no response to our message," the communications officer said. Daiho frowned. "Keep trying. Send it again. Add mathematical sequences to show we're intelligent. Use light patterns, radio waves, everything we have." Minutes passed. The alien ship didn't respond. It just hung there in space like a sleeping giant. Daiho's crew kept sending messages. They tried everything they could think of. Nothing worked. Then the alien ship moved. It turned toward them slowly. Massive weapon ports opened along its hull. Daiho saw them and his blood went cold. "Shields up! All ships, shields up now," he shouted. The alien ship fired. Bright blue energy beams cut through space. They hit the Morning Star before anyone could react. The escort ship exploded in a ball of fire and debris. One moment it was there. The next moment it was gone. 53 people died in an instant. "Return fire. All weapons," Daiho ordered. His hands gripped the armrest of his command chair so hard his knuckles turned white. "Get us out of here! Emergency jump!" The Indomitable and the 2 remaining escort ships fired their weapons at the alien vessel. Their missiles and energy weapons hit the purple hull, but they barely made a dent. The aliens' shields were too strong. It was like throwing pebbles at a mountain. The alien ship fired again. This time it targeted the Guardian. The beam sliced through the escort ship's shields like they weren't even there. The Guardian tried to turn away, but it was too slow. The alien weapon cut it in half. Both pieces tumbled through space, trailing atmosphere and bodies. Daiho's friend Bongsu was the captain of the Guardian. They had trained together at the academy. Bongsu had 3 children back home. Daiho had promised to visit them after this mission. Now that would never happen. "Jump drive is charging." 20 seconds, the helmsman shouted. 20 seconds felt like forever. The alien ship turned its weapons toward the Indomitable. Daiho watched the massive gun ports aim directly at his bridge. Evasive maneuvers. "Don't let it get a clear shot!" The Indomitable twisted and turned through space. The helmsman flew the big ship like it was a fighter craft. The alien weapon fired again, but the beam missed by just a few meters. It hit a debris field from one of the destroyed escort ships instead. 10 seconds. The Horizon moved between the Indomitable and the alien ship. Its captain was trying to protect them, trying to give them time to escape. "No! Horizon, get out of there!" Daiho shouted into the communication system. But the Horizon didn't move. The alien fired one more time. The beam hit the escort ship directly. The Horizon exploded in a flash of white light. "Jump drive ready! Jump now!" Space twisted around the Indomitable. The stars stretched into lines. The alien ship disappeared. They fell through the strange tunnel of faster-than-light travel. When they came out, they were light years away from the battle. They were safe. But safety felt like a curse. Daiho looked around his bridge. His crew sat in shocked silence. Some were crying. Some just stared at nothing. 3 ships destroyed, 159 people dead, and they had done nothing wrong. They had come in peace. They had sent greeting messages. They had tried everything to communicate. And the aliens had killed their people without warning. Without mercy, Hyejin walked over to Daeho. Her face was pale. "What do we do now, Commander?" Daeho took a deep breath. "We go home. We report what happened. We tell Earth that there are hostile aliens out there. And we prepare for war." The journey back to Earth took 3 days. During that time, Daeho didn't sleep. He kept replaying the battle in his mind. He kept thinking about all the things he could have done differently. But deep down he knew nothing would have changed. The aliens had wanted them dead. That was clear. When they reached Earth, military command was already waiting. Daeho gave his report. He showed them all the sensor data. He showed them the recordings of the one-sided battle. He told them about the alien ship and its incredible weapons. The military leaders listened. When he finished, they were quiet for a long moment. Then the head admiral spoke. "We have no choice. If this alien race attacks without communication, if they destroy our ships without provocation, then they are an enemy to all humanity. We must defend ourselves. We must prepare." Humanity declared the Velkari Empire a hostile force. All ships were ordered to shoot on sight if they encountered the purple vessels. The military started building more warships, more weapons, more everything. War had begun, and Daeho knew that what he had seen was just the start. The real horror was still to come. Princess Irina stood at the window of her family's palace, looking out at the 3 moons that hung in the purple sky. Except there were only 2 moons now. The 3rd one was gone, destroyed, and with it her 3 sisters had died. Irina was the 4th daughter of Emperor Thalin, ruler of the Velkari Empire. She was 28 years old in human years, though her people aged differently. She had pale blue skin that seemed to glow softly in dim light. Her eyes were silver like polished metal. Her people had always been warriors, but they had also been peaceful. They explored the galaxy. They studied other species. They believed in honor and respect, until the humans came. Irina touched the cold glass of the window. She remembered the day it happened. She had been training with the Royal Guard when the news arrived. The mining moon in the outer territories had been destroyed. Her sisters had been visiting that moon on a diplomatic mission. They were supposed to meet with the moon's governors. They were supposed to return home in 2 days. They never came home. "Your Highness," a voice said behind her. Irina turned to see Kyle, her younger brother. He was only 19 and had always been the gentle one in the family. "Father wants to see you in the war room." Irina nodded. She followed Kale through the long hallways of the palace. The walls were covered with paintings of their ancestors, great warriors and wise rulers. All of them watched Irina as she walked past. She wondered what they would think of what was about to happen. The war room was filled with military officers and advisors. Emperor Thalin sat at the head of a long table. He looked older than Irina remembered. His face was tired and his eyes were red from crying. But there was also anger there. Cold, hard anger. "Irina," her father said. "Come sit." She took her seat next to him. The emperor looked around at all the people in the room. "We have studied the humans' claim," he said. His voice was steady but filled with pain. "They say the destruction of the mining moon was an accident. They say they did not know we were there. They say they did not know the moon was unstable." One of the military advisors stood up. His name was General Vorek. He was an old warrior with many scars. "My emperor, we have analyzed their mining operation. Their equipment was faulty. Their surveyors were careless. They should have detected the instability. They should have detected our presence. It does not matter if it was an accident or not," another advisor said. 3 princesses are dead. Our people demand justice." Emperor Thalin nodded slowly. "I agree. The humans have taken my daughters from me. They have taken 3 lights from our empire. Whether they meant to or not, they are responsible. They must pay." Irina felt her chest tighten. "Father, if it truly was an accident, perhaps we should—" "Accident?" The emperor's voice rose. "Your sisters are dead, Irina. Do you not care? Do you not want justice for them?" "Of course I do," Irina said quietly. "But starting a war—" "We are not starting a war," her father interrupted. "We are responding to an act of aggression. The humans killed our people. We will show them that such actions have consequences. General Vorek pulled up a hologram display. It showed a map of the galaxy. We have tracked human ships entering several of our territories. They claim they are exploring. But I believe they are planning an invasion. They are looking for resources, looking for weaknesses. The destruction of the mining moon was just the beginning. Irina looked at the map. She wanted to argue. She wanted to say that maybe the humans weren't evil. Maybe they were just careless. But then she thought about her sisters. She thought about their laughter, their kindness, the way they had always protected her when she was young. They were gone now, dead because of human carelessness, dead because humans didn't bother to check before they acted. Maybe they were evil. Maybe they did deserve punishment. What is your plan, General? Irina asked. Vorek smiled. It was not a kind smile. We attack their forward bases. We show them that the Velkari Empire is not weak. We make them fear us, and if they retaliate? Kyle asked. If they send their full military force? Then we destroy them completely, the Emperor said. We have the strongest fleet in this sector. Our weapons are more advanced. Our shields are impenetrable. The humans cannot stand against us. Irina was not so sure. She had studied many alien species. She knew that underestimating an enemy was dangerous. But she also knew that her father would not listen to caution right now. He was hurting. He was angry. And angry people made mistakes. I want to volunteer to lead the attack fleet, Irina said suddenly. Everyone in the room turned to look at her. Her father's eyes widened. Irina, you are a princess. You should not. My sisters were princesses too, she said. Her voice was strong. And they died because humans were careless with their lives. I want to be the one to make them pay. I want to lead our warriors into battle. I want to show the humans that the Velkari are not victims. We are fighters. Emperor Thalin studied his daughter for a long moment. Then he nodded. Very well. You will lead the assault fleets. General Vorek will be your advisor. I want to study the humans first, Irina said. I want to learn everything about them. Their tactics, their weaknesses, their way of thinking. If we are going to fight them, I want to understand them. Wise, Vorek said. I will have all our intelligence reports sent to you. Over the next few weeks, Irina spent every waking hour studying humans. She learned about their history, how they had come from a single world and spread across their solar system, how they had fought wars among themselves for thousands of years, how they were divided into many nations and cultures, but united when faced with external threats. She learned about their technology. It was less advanced than Velkari technology in many ways, but it was also creative. Humans adapted quickly. They found solutions to problems that no one else had thought of. They were survivors, and she learned about their military commanders. One name kept appearing in the reports: Commander Deho. He was young for a human military leader, but he had never lost a battle. He was careful, cautious. He protected his people above all else. Irina found herself thinking about him often. What kind of person was he? Did he know about the mining moon? Did he care that 3 princesses had died? Or was he just another human who saw the Velkari as obstacles to be removed? She would find out soon enough. Her fleet was ready. The Emperor had given her 50 warships, the best ships in the Empire, and she had personally selected every captain and every crew member. They were all loyal, all skilled, all ready to avenge the fallen princesses. Before she left, Irina visited the memorial that had been built for her sisters. 3 white stones stood in the palace garden. Each stone had a name carved into it: Lisa, Mira, Thera. Irina touched each stone gently. I will make them pay, she whispered. I promise you. The humans will learn that Velkari lives are not meaningless. They will learn to fear us, and they will learn to regret what they have done. She turned and walked toward her ship. The Starfire was waiting for her. It was the most powerful warship in the fleet, and soon it would be carrying her into battle. The war had already begun. The humans had struck first, even if they didn't know it. Now it was time for the Velkari to strike back, and Irina would make sure that the humans remembered this war for generations. Fortress Kepler hung in space like a giant metal star. It was humanity's greatest defensive structure. Thousands of people lived and worked inside its massive walls. Hundreds of weapons pointed outward in all directions, and now it was about to become a battlefield. Deho stood in the central command center. Screens covered every wall, showing him everything that was happening around the fortress. He had been given command of the defense 3 months ago. 3 months of preparing, training, building more weapons, more shields, more everything, and now the Velkari were here. How many ships? He asked Hyejin. She checked her screen. Her face was pale. 50, maybe more. They're coming in formation. Very organized, very precise. Daeho felt his heartbeat faster. 50 ships. That was more than they had ever seen in one place. This wasn't a raid. This wasn't a skirmish. This was a real attack. The Velkari wanted to destroy Fortress Kepler, and they had brought enough firepower to do it. Alert all crews, Daeho said. This is not a drill. All weapons ready. All fighters launch. And someone get me a line to Earth. We're going to need reinforcements. The fortress came alive. Alarms blared. People ran to their stations. Fighter ships poured out of the hangar bays like angry bees from a hive. The massive cannons on the fortress walls powered up, their energy cores glowing bright blue. Daeho watched the Velkari fleet approach. They moved like dancers, every ship in perfect position. Every movement calculated. Someone very smart was commanding that fleet. Someone who knew what they were doing. Incoming message from the Velkari fleet, the communications officer said. Put it through. A hologram appeared in the center of the command room. It showed a Velkari woman. She had blue skin and silver eyes. She wore armor that looked both elegant and deadly, and she stared at Daeho with such hatred that he felt it like a physical blow. I am Princess Irina of the Velkari Empire, she said. Her voice was cold and clear. This fortress is built in territory that belongs to my people. You have one chance to surrender. Evacuate now and we will let you leave alive. Stay, and you will die like the others who challenged us. Daeho stepped forward. I am Commander Daeho of the Terran Defense Fleet. This fortress was built in unclaimed space. We have every right to be here. If you attack us, you will be starting a war that neither of our people want. Irina's silver eyes narrowed. Your people already started this war. When you destroyed our mining moon, when you killed 3 princesses of the Velkari Empire. This is not the beginning. This is justice. That was an accident, Daeho said. We sent messages. We tried to explain. We offered compensation. We offered to help rebuild. Compensation? Irina's voice rose. You think you can pay for the lives of my sisters? You think money can bring them back? You humans are monsters. You kill without thought, without care, and now you will learn what it means to face the Velkari Empire. The hologram disappeared. All ships prepare for combat, Daeho shouted. They're not here to talk. The Velkari fleet opened fire. Blue energy beams lit up space like lightning. They hit Fortress Kepler's shields and the whole station shook. Daeho grabbed onto a railing to keep from falling. Return fire. Target their lead ships. The fortress's weapons fired back. Missiles and energy cannons sent streams of death toward the Velkari fleet. Some hit, some missed. The Velkari ships dodged and weaved, always moving, never staying in one place long enough to be easy targets. The battle raged for hours. Then days, then weeks. Neither side could gain an advantage. The Velkari would attack. The fortress would defend. Both sides took damage. Both sides lost people. But neither side would surrender. Daeho barely slept. He stayed in the command center, watching every battle, making every decision. Hyejin brought him food that he barely ate. She told him to rest, but he couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw his ships exploding. He saw his people dying. Commander, we have a problem, said Minji, the fortress's chief engineer. She was young but brilliant. The Velkari are targeting our shield generators. They're being very precise about it. If they keep this up, they'll break through in maybe 2 days. Can we reinforce the generators? I'm trying, but they're hitting us faster than I can repair. Daeho looked at the tactical display. The Velkari fleet was positioned perfectly. Every ship covering every angle. No weak spots. No opening. Princess Irina was a genius. She had probably studied human tactics for months before coming here. He needed to do something unexpected. Something she wouldn't predict. Prepare a strike team, he said. We're going to board their flagship. Hyejin stared at him. That's suicide. Maybe. But if we can disrupt their command structure even for a few hours, it might give us enough time to get reinforcements. Earth is sending a fleet, but they won't be here for another 3 days. We need to buy time. The strike team launched in stealth pods, small craft that were hard to detect. They flew through the battle, dodging fire from both sides. Daeho led the team himself. He knew it was risky for a commander to go on a mission like this, but he also knew his people needed to see him fighting alongside them. They attached to the hull of the Velkari flagship. The Starfire, Princess Irina's ship, Deho and 20 soldiers cut through the hull and entered the ship. Inside it was strange. The walls glowed softly. The air smelled like flowers. And everything was slightly too warm. Velkari warriors were waiting for them. The battle inside the ship was brutal. Close quarters. No room for mistakes. Deho fought with his rifle and his knife. He saw soldiers on both sides fall, human and Velkari both, all dying for causes they barely understood. The strike team pushed toward the command center. They were close, so close. Deho could hear Princess Irina giving orders on the other side of the door. He prepared to breach it. Then alarms started blaring. Not human alarms, Velkari alarms. Irina's voice came over the ship's speakers. All warriors fall back to the core. We have a critical system failure. The reactor is overloading. Deho felt ice in his stomach. An overloading reactor meant an explosion. A big one. Big enough to destroy the Starfire and probably several other ships nearby. Maybe even damage Fortress Kepler. He had a choice. Keep attacking! Try to capture Irina. Or help fix the reactor and save everyone. It wasn't really a choice at all. Fall back, he ordered his team. We need to get to the reactor room. His soldiers looked at him like he was crazy. Sir, this is our chance. If that reactor explodes, it will kill thousands of people. Ours and theirs, move. They ran toward the reactor room. So did the Velkari warriors. Both groups arrived at the same time. They stared at each other. Enemies, but facing a common threat. A Velkari technician was trying to shut down the reactor. His hands moved over controls that Deho couldn't understand. I cannot stop it. The safety systems are damaged. Minji pushed forward. She looked at the reactor. I might be able to help, but I'll need someone who understands Velkari technology. The Velkari technician stared at her. Then he nodded. Work with me. For the next hour, humans and Velkari worked together. Minji and the technician gave orders. Soldiers from both sides followed those orders. Deho and the Velkari warrior stood guard, protecting the engineers while they worked. Then Princess Irina arrived. She came into the reactor room with her own guards. She saw Deho standing there. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither of them moved. They just looked at each other. The human commander who had been trying to stop her attacks. The Velkari princess who had been trying to destroy his fortress. Why are you helping us? Irina asked. Because if this reactor explodes, everyone dies, Deho said simply. And I don't want anyone else to die today. Irina's expression was hard to read. Confusion, anger, maybe a little respect. You could have let it explode. Let us die. It would make your war easier. That's not who we are, Deho said. We got it, Minji shouted. The reactor is stable. Everyone in the room let out a breath. The crisis was over. For now. But then reality returned. Humans and Velkari stood in the same room. Enemies again. Weapons began to rise. Wait, Irina said. She held up a hand. Her warriors stopped. Commander Deho, you saved my ship. You saved my people. I do not understand why, but you did. I will allow you and your team to return to your fortress. No one will fire on you. You have my word, Your Highness, we should capture them. One of her warriors protested. No, Irina said firmly. He showed honor. We will do the same. Go, Commander. Before I change my mind, Deho nodded. He and his team made their way back to their pods. As they left, he looked back once. Irina was watching him. Something had changed between them. Something neither of them fully understood yet. The war was still happening. The battle was still raging. But for just a moment, two enemies had worked together, and both of them were wondering if maybe, just maybe, they were fighting the wrong war. The explosion came without warning. One moment Fortress Kepler was fighting normally. The next moment a massive energy surge tore through the station's power grid. Half the lights went out. Systems failed. And sections of the station sealed themselves off automatically to prevent total destruction. Deho found himself trapped on the Velkari side of the fortress. During the boarding action, parts of the station had been captured by Irina's warriors. Now those sections were sealed off from the human-controlled areas, and he was stuck there with 15 of his soldiers. Worse, he knew that Irina was trapped on the human side with some of her warriors. The explosion had switched their positions. The hunter had become the hunted, and the hunted had become the hunter. But neither could claim victory because they couldn't reach their own people. This is bad, Hyejin said through his damaged communicator. Her voice was filled with static. The explosion damaged the main reactor. We're working on it, but it's going to take time. Maybe days. Until then, those sealed sections won't open. You're stuck there, Commander. Understood, Deho said. Are you in contact with Princess Arena? Yes, she's locked in Section 7 with about 20 of her people. She's not happy, Deho could imagine. A princess trapped in enemy territory. It must be driving her crazy with frustration. Tell her we need to talk, Deho said. Find a way to connect our communications. If we're going to survive this, we need to work together. It took an hour, but Minji managed to create a link between the two trapped groups. A hologram of Arena appeared in front of Deho. She looked tired and angry. Her armor was damaged and there was a cut on her face. Commander, she said coldly. Your Highness. They stared at each other for a moment. This was strange. They were enemies. They had been trying to kill each other just hours ago. But now they were trapped. Now they needed each other. My engineers tell me the power grid is destroyed, Arena said. They tell me it will be days before the sections can be opened. Days before we can reach our ships. Mine say the same thing, Deho confirmed. We're both prisoners of this situation. Then we wait. Or we work together, Deho said. Your people and mine. We're all trapped in a damaged station. Life support is running on emergency power. Food supplies in the sealed sections are limited. If we don't cooperate, some of us might not survive. Arena's silver eyes narrowed. You want me to trust you? After everything? I want us both to survive. And I think you want the same thing. She was quiet for a long time. Then she nodded slowly. Very well. What do you suggest? Over the next few hours, Deho and Arena worked out a plan. The trapped humans in Velkari territory would share their supplies with the Velkari trapped there. The trapped Velkari in human territory would do the same with the humans. Both groups would work together to keep life support running and to repair what damage they could. It was strange. Soldiers who had been shooting at each other were now passing water bottles back and forth. Technicians who had been enemies were now fixing broken systems together. And Deho found himself talking to Arena several times each day, coordinating their efforts. Your people adapt quickly, Arena said during one conversation. My engineers say the humans working with them already understand our technology. They learn fast. That's what humans do, Deho said. We adapt. We survive. It's in our nature. Why did you come to our sector? Arena asked suddenly. Why did you build this fortress? Were you planning to invade our territory? Deho shook his head. No, we were exploring. Looking for resources. Looking for places to build new colonies. Our system is getting crowded. We need more space. And you did not care that other species already lived in this space? We didn't know anyone was here, Deho said. We sent survey ships. They didn't detect any civilizations. We thought it was empty space. You should have looked harder, Arena said bitterly. Maybe. But would it have mattered? Your people shot at us the moment we met. You didn't try to communicate. You just attacked. Arena's face darkened. Because you killed my sisters. That was an accident. We didn't know they were there. We didn't know the moon was unstable. If we had known, we never would have. But you did not know. Arena's voice rose. You humans rush into things without thinking, without checking. You are careless with lives that are not your own. Deho felt anger rising in his chest. And your people are so perfect. You declared war without ever talking to us, without giving us a chance to explain. You decided we were evil and attacked. How is that any better? They glared at each other. The hologram between them almost seemed to crackle with tension. Then Arena looked away. Tell me about the mining moon, she said quietly. Tell me exactly what happened. So Deho told her. He explained how a human mining company had found what they thought was a rich asteroid field. How they had started extracting resources from one of the moons. How their instruments had not detected the instability in the moon's core. How the whole thing had collapsed in minutes. We didn't know anyone was there, he said. We sent distress calls afterward. We tried to help with rescue efforts. But your ships arrived and started shooting at us. We thought you were blaming us for the accident. We didn't know about your princesses until later. Arena closed her eyes. My sisters were there on a diplomatic mission. They were meeting with the moon's governors. They were young, kind. They had never hurt anyone. She opened her eyes and looked at Deho. And then they were just gone. In an instant. Because humans were careless. I'm sorry, Deho said. And he meant it. I'm truly sorry. If there was anything we could have done to prevent it, we would have. But we didn't know. We didn't mean for anyone to die. Does it matter? Arena asked. They are still dead. Whether you meant it or not, they are gone. Yes, it matters, Deho said. Intent matters. Mistakes happen. But that doesn't make us evil. That doesn't make us monsters. Arena was quiet for a long time. Perhaps not, she finally said. Perhaps we judged you too quickly. Another day passed. Then another. The engineers from both sides worked together constantly now. Minji and a Velkari technician named Tyron had become friends. They shared stories about their lives, their families, their dreams. Deho found himself talking to Arena more and more, not just about logistics and survival, but about other things. Their cultures, their histories, their beliefs. We are not so different, Arena admitted one day. Your people and mine. We both value family, honor. We both want to protect our own. We both fear the unknown. Then why are we fighting? Deho asked. Because fear makes people do terrible things, Arena said. Because grief makes people want revenge. Because sometimes it is easier to hate than to understand. On the third day, Minji made a discovery. She was going through the fortress's damaged computer systems trying to restore files, and she found something strange. Commander, she said, you need to see this. Deho looked at the screen. It showed communication logs from before the first battle, before the Velkari had attacked his scout ships. These are messages, Minji explained, sent from the mining moon before it was destroyed. They're addressed to someone called the Seraph Collective. They're asking for payment. Deho felt ice in his veins. Payment for what? For causing the accident. For making sure the moon's instability wasn't detected. For making sure the Velkari princesses were there when it happened. Someone caused the accident on purpose? It looks that way, Minji said. And there's more. These logs show similar messages about your scout ships. Someone told the Velkari where you would be. Someone told them you were a threat. Someone wanted you to fight each other. Deho immediately contacted Arena. He showed her the files. He watched her face as she read them. He saw anger, shock, horror. Someone manipulated us, she said slowly. Someone wanted this war. The Seraph Collective, Deho said. Do you know who they are? I have heard rumors, Arena said. They are scavengers. They profit from war. They salvage destroyed ships. They enslave survivors. She stopped. Her face went pale. They profit from conflict. They make money from war. And they started this war between us, Deho said. They killed your sisters. They killed my people. Also, they could profit from our fighting. Arena's hands clenched into fists. We have been fools, both of us. We have been killing each other while the real enemy laughs. We need to tell our people, Deho said. We need to stop this war. Will they listen? Arena asked. My father is blinded by grief. Your military leaders think we are monsters. Will anyone believe us? They have to, Deho said. Because if they don't, we're going to destroy each other. And the Seraph will win. The power grid finally came back online on the fourth day. The sealed sections opened. Deho and his soldiers returned to human territory. Arena and her warriors returned to their ships. But something had changed. They had talked. They had worked together. They had learned the truth. Now they had to convince everyone else. They had to end a war, and they had to make the real enemy pay for what they had done. Arena's return to the Velkari Empire was nothing like she expected. She had thought she would be welcomed as a hero. She had fought the humans. She had led successful attacks. She had shown them that the Velkari were strong. Instead, she was called a traitor. You worked with the enemy, her father shouted. His face was red with anger. They were in the throne room, surrounded by advisors and guards. You helped humans. You spoke with them. You treated them like equals. Because I learned the truth, Arena said. She stood straight, refusing to show fear. Father, we have been manipulated. The humans did not kill my sisters on purpose. Someone else? Enough! Emperor Thalen slammed his fist on the throne. I have seen the reports from your officers. They say you spent days talking to the human commander. They say you shared information. They say you called him an ally. Because he is not our enemy. The Seraph Collective is our enemy. They are the ones who... I do not want to hear about these Seraph, her father said. I want to hear why you betrayed your people. Why you betrayed your sister's memory. Arena felt like she had been hit. I did this for my sisters. To find the truth about their deaths. To make sure the right people pay for what happened. The right people are the humans, Emperor Thalen said coldly, and you will not lead our fleets anymore. You are stripped of your command. You will be confined to the palace until I decide what to do with you. Guards moved forward to take her. Arena didn't resist. She let them lead her away. But as she walked through the palace, she saw other Velkari watching her. Some looked angry, but some looked curious. Some looked like they wanted to hear more about what she had learned. That night, her brother Kale came to visit her in her room. He looked worried. The whole empire is talking about you, he said. Some say you are a traitor, but others say you might be right. They say maybe we should investigate these Sareth. Father won't listen, Arena said. He's too angry, too hurt. Then we make him listen, Kale said. Or we act without him. Arena looked at her brother. He was young, but he was brave. And he believed her. What are you suggesting? I have friends in the fleet, officers who trust you, who believe you. If we can show them proof about the Sareth, they will support you. That would be a rebellion against Father. Only if he forces us to make it one, Kale said. Sister, you know I am right. We cannot keep fighting the humans while the real enemy escapes. We must act. Meanwhile, on Earth, Deho was facing his own problems. He stood in front of a military tribunal. 12 high-ranking officers sat in judgment of him. They had reviewed his actions at Fortress Kepler, and they were not happy. Admiral Taeyang led the questioning. He was an old soldier with gray hair and cold eyes. Commander Daiho, you allowed enemy forces to escape when you had them trapped. You worked with an enemy princess. You shared military intelligence. How do you explain these actions? I was trying to save lives, Daiho said. Both human and Velkari, and I discovered information that proves this war was started by a third party. The Sareth Collective manipulated both sides. We have reviewed your supposed evidence, Admiral Taeyang said. A few corrupted files. Some suspicious messages. This proves nothing. The Velkari killed our people. That is fact. Everything else is just your attempt to justify cooperating with the enemy. It's not an attempt, Daiho said. It's the truth. If you would just investigate. We have investigated, another officer interrupted. We found nothing concrete. Just speculation. Just theories. And in the meantime, you have given the Velkari information about our defenses. You have shown them weakness. You have made us vulnerable. Hijin stood up from where she had been sitting. Permission to speak? Admiral Taeyang frowned. Granted. Commander Daiho is the best tactical officer in our fleet, Hijin said. He has never lost a battle. He saved Fortress Kepler from destruction, and everything he did was to protect our people. If he says there is evidence of manipulation, we should listen. Captain Hijin, your loyalty to your commander is admirable, Admiral Taeyang said. But loyalty does not change facts. Commander Daiho compromised our security. He must face consequences, the tribunal voted. 8 officers voted to court-martial Daiho for treason. 4 voted to continue the investigation. It wasn't enough. Daiho was stripped of his command and confined to military quarters while they prepared for a full trial. Hijin visited him that evening. She looked furious. This is wrong, she said. They're not even looking at the evidence. They just want someone to blame. They're scared, Daiho said. Scared people make bad decisions, I know. I've done it myself. What are we going to do? We're going to prove the truth, Daiho said. We're going to find more evidence about the Sareth. And we're going to make them listen. How? Daiho smiled slightly. We're going to break some rules. Over the next week, Hijin worked in secret. She contacted Minji. Together they hacked into military databases. They searched for any mention of the Sareth Collective. And they found things. Reports from other sectors about mysterious attacks, salvage operations that showed up after battles, slave trading networks, all connected to the Sareth. But the military command still refused to listen. Admiral Taeyang called it speculation. He said Daiho had infected his officers with his paranoia. He ordered Hijin to stop investigating or face charges herself. Then Arena sent a message. It was encrypted and secret. Only Daiho could open it, Commander, her hologram said. My people will not listen to me. But I will not stop fighting for the truth. I am escaping the palace with loyal followers. We are going to find the Sareth ourselves. We are going to get proof that no one can deny. If you want to help, meet me at the coordinates below. But know that if you come, you will be a fugitive from your own people, just like I am now a fugitive from mine. Daiho looked at the coordinates. It was a neutral system, far from both human and Velkari space. If he went there, he would be deserting. He would be confirming everything the tribunal believed about him. But if he didn't go, the truth might never come out. The war would continue. More people would die, and the Sarith would keep profiting from the destruction. Hyojin, he said, how many people do we have who believe us? Maybe 20, she said. Officers and crew from the Indomitable. People who were at Fortress Kepler. People who saw you and Arena work together. Is that enough to crew a ship? Hyojin's eyes widened. You want to steal a ship? I want to find the truth, Deho said. Are you with me? She smiled. Always, Commander. They planned carefully. Minji helped them disable security systems. Hyojin gathered their supporters. And 3 days later, in the middle of the night, they stole a fast scout ship called the Swift Wind. They left Earth's orbit before anyone could stop them. Admiral Taiyang was furious when he found out. He declared Daiho and his crew as deserters and traitors. He sent ships to hunt them down. But the Swift Wind was fast and Daiho was a good pilot. They escaped into deep space. At the same time, Arena was making her own escape. Kale helped her get out of the palace. They gathered loyal warriors and took 3 fast ships from the royal fleet. Emperor Thalen was so angry he could barely speak. He declared his daughter an enemy of the Empire. He ordered all loyal Velkari to capture her, but Arena didn't care anymore. She was done being controlled by her father's grief. She was done fighting the wrong war. She was going to find the truth. And she was going to make the Sarith pay for everything they had done. The Swift Wind arrived at the neutral coordinates first. Daiho waited nervously. He had no idea if Arena would actually come. Maybe this was a trap. Maybe she had decided to side with her father after all. Then 3 Velkari ships appeared. They were sleek and beautiful, with purple hulls that caught the light of distant stars. One of them sent a message, Commander Daiho. Arena's voice said, "Thank you for coming. I was not sure you would." "Thank you for not shooting at me," Daiho replied. "I wasn't sure you wouldn't." There was a pause. Then Arena laughed. It was the first time Daiho had heard her laugh. It was a nice sound. "We are both fugitives now," she said. "Both hunted by our own people. Both branded as traitors. But we know the truth, and we will prove it. Together?" Daiho asked. "Together," Arena confirmed. Their ships moved closer. Human and Velkari. Former enemies, now allies, now friends. Both fighting for the same goal. Both willing to sacrifice everything to end a war that should never have started. The hunt for the Sarith Collective had begun, and nothing would stop them from finding justice. The Sarith Collective operated in the shadows. They had no homeworld that anyone knew about. No embassies, no official presence. They were ghosts that appeared after battles, taking what they wanted and disappearing before anyone could stop them. But ghosts left traces. And Daiho's crew was good at finding traces. Minji worked day and night analyzing data. She tracked salvage operations across dozens of systems. She looked for patterns, strange ship movements, unexplained disappearances. And slowly, a picture began to form. "They have a base," she told Daiho and Arena during a joint meeting. The human and Velkari crews were working together now, sharing information freely. "I don't know exactly where it is, but I know the general area. It's in the void sector, that region of space where sensors don't work properly because of all the radiation." "The void sector is huge," Hyojin said. "We could search for months and find nothing." "Not if we follow their supply lines," Arena said. She pulled up a map. "Look, ships go into the void regularly, always from this direction, always to the same general area. If we follow them, they will lead us right to their base." "And then what?" Kale asked. He had proven himself to be a skilled warrior and a good strategist. "We cannot attack them with just 4 ships. Their base will be heavily defended." "We don't need to attack them," Daiho said. "We just need to get proof, pictures, data, recordings, something we can take back to our governments that they cannot ignore." So they followed the trail. It took 2 weeks of careful tracking. They stayed hidden using asteroid fields and radiation clouds for cover. They watched Sarith ships come and go, always staying just out of sensor range. And then they found it. The Sarith base. It was built into a massive asteroid hidden by layers of radiation and sensor-dampening fields. Ships came and went constantly, Huge cargo vessels carrying salvage, smaller ships that looked like warships, and something else. Prison ships, ships designed to carry slaves. They're worse than we thought, Arena said quietly. She was looking at scans of the prison ships. They don't just salvage wreckage. They take survivors. They enslave them. Deho felt sick. How many people had the Sareth taken? How many humans? How many Velkari? How many were suffering right now while their governments fought each other? We need to get closer, Minji said. I need to access their computer systems. Get evidence that proves what they've been doing. That's suicide, Hyojin said. We'll be detected the moment we get close. Not if we use a stealth approach, Kyle suggested. One small ship, minimal power. Fly in during a busy time when lots of ships are moving. Hide in plain sight. They planned carefully. Daiho, Arena, Minji, and Kale would take a small shuttle. They would approach during the next cargo rush, when dozens of ships were coming and going. They would dock at an outer station, hack into the computer system, and get what they needed. The rest of the crew would wait at a safe distance, ready to run if things went wrong. The shuttle approached the base at night cycle, when activity was high. Dozens of ships moved around the asteroid like bees around a hive. The shuttle slipped between them, just another small craft in the chaos. They docked at a cargo station on the outer edge. Minji immediately started working on the computer access port. Deho and Arena stood guard while Kyle watched the corridor. I'm in, Minji whispered. Downloading everything. Transaction records, communications, video logs, everything. Minutes passed. They felt like hours. Deho kept his weapon ready, watching every shadow. He could hear his heart beating. He could feel sweat on his forehead. Then alarms started blaring. They detected us, Kyle shouted. Just 10 more seconds, Minji said. Her fingers flew over the controls. Almost there, got it. Run, Deho ordered. They sprinted back to the shuttle. Behind them, they heard footsteps. Sareth guards were coming. The Sareth looked almost human, but their skin was gray and their eyes were completely black. They carried advanced weapons and they were fast. Arena fired her weapon, covering their escape. Blue energy bolts lit up the corridor. One Sareth guard fell, then another, but more kept coming. They reached the shuttle and piled inside. Deho took the controls and launched immediately. The shuttle shot away from the station, weaving between cargo ships. They're launching fighters, Kyle said, watching the scanners. At least 20 small attack craft burst from the base. They were fast and armed with heavy weapons. The shuttle was not built for combat. It was built for stealth. If those fighters caught them, they would be torn apart. I'm calling for pickup, Deho said into the communicator. Swift Wind, Starfire, we need help now. The human and Velkari ships appeared from behind an asteroid. Their weapons blazed to life. They targeted the Sareth fighters, giving the shuttle a chance to escape. But the Sareth base was launching more ships, bigger ships, warships with shields and heavy cannons. The small fleet was outnumbered and outgunned. We need to jump out of here, Hyojin said over the radio. We got what we came for. Let's go. But as they were preparing to jump, Kale saw something on the sensors. Wait, there's a distress signal coming from one of the prison ships. They're calling for help. We can't help them, Deho said. His heart was breaking, but he knew it was true. We don't have the firepower. If we try, we'll just get captured too. No, Arena said. Her voice was hard. We cannot leave them. These might be my people. Or yours. We cannot abandon them to slavery. We don't have a choice, Hyojin said. More Sareth ships are coming. We have maybe 2 minutes before we're surrounded. Arena looked at Deho. Their eyes met. He saw pain in her silver eyes. Pain and determination. She was not going to leave those people behind, even if it meant dying here. And Deho realized he felt the same way. They had come all this way to find the truth. They had evidence of what the Sareth had done, but what good was evidence if they became monsters themselves? What good was ending a war if they abandoned innocent people to slavery? Target the prison ship's docking clamps, Deho said. Break them free. Hyejin, can you pilot the prison ship remotely? Maybe, if I can access their systems, but Commander, this is crazy. I know. Do it anyway. The swift wind and the 3 Velkari ships attacked the prison ship, not to destroy it, but to free it. Their weapons cut through the docking clamps. Minji hacked into the prison ship systems and gave Hyejin control. The prison ship broke free and started moving. It was slow and clumsy, but it was moving. Inside were hundreds of prisoners. Human. Velkari, and species they didn't even recognize. But now every Sereth ship was targeting them. Weapons fire filled space. The Starfire took a hit and its shields flickered. One of Arena's escort ships was destroyed in a blast of fire. Jump! Everyone jump! Deho ordered. The ships activated their faster-than-light drives. Space twisted around them. The Sereth base disappeared. They fell through the tunnel of light and emerged in a safe system, light years away. They had escaped. Barely. And they had rescued hundreds of people. But they had also lost a ship, lost warriors. The cost was high, but they had the evidence. They had proof of what the Sereth had done. Proof that would change everything. The prison ship docked with the swift wind. Daiho and Arena went aboard to meet the freed prisoners. What they saw broke their hearts. These people had been beaten, starved, tortured. Some had been prisoners for months, some for years. And they were from both sides of the war. Humans and Velkari, locked in cells next to each other, suffering together, both victims of the Sereth Collective's greed. One Velkari woman approached Arena. She was thin and weak, but her eyes were sharp. Princess Arena? Is it really you? Yes, Arena said gently. You are safe now. What is your name? I am Lyra. I was a navigator on a merchant ship. The Sereth attacked us 6 months ago. They killed half my crew and took the rest of us as slaves. She looked around at the other prisoners. They kept us working in their factories, building weapons, repairing ships. If we refused, they would hurt us or kill us. A human man stepped forward. He was older, with gray hair and scars on his face. I'm Captain Dongjin. I was commanding a supply convoy when the Sereth hit us. That was 8 months ago. They told us the Velkari had destroyed our ships. They told us we were the only survivors. They lied, Deho said. They lied to everyone. They want us to hate each other. They want us to keep fighting so they can keep profiting. Then the war. Dongjin's voice broke. The war is based on lies? Not entirely, Arena said. Real people have died. My sisters died. But the Sareth pushed us into conflict. They made accidents look like attacks. They made sure we would fight each other instead of looking for the real enemy. Lyra started crying. So many people dead for nothing, for profit. Arena put a hand on her shoulder. Not for nothing. Because now we know the truth. And we are going to make sure everyone else knows it too. They took the freed prisoners to a safe station in neutral space. Medical teams cared for them. They gave statements about what the Sereth had done, about the lies they had been told, about the horrors they had witnessed. Minji compiled all the evidence into a detailed report. Video footage from the Sereth base showing prisoners being forced to work. Transaction records showing payments for starting conflicts. Communication logs proving the Sereth had sabotaged the mining moon. Everything. The truth could not be denied. Now we need to get this to our governments, Deho said. But how? We're fugitives. They think we're traitors. They won't listen to us. The joint presentation happened in neutral space, broadcast live to both human and Velkari territories. Billions of people watched as Deho and Arena stood side by side, presenting the evidence they had gathered. They showed the freed prisoners, humans and Velkari who had suffered together at Sereth hands. They showed the video footage from the Sereth base, the transaction records, the communication logs, everything that proved the Sereth Collective had manipulated both sides into war. We have been enemies, Arena said to the cameras. My people and the humans. We have killed each other. We have destroyed each other's ships. We have mourned our dead and sworn revenge. But we were fighting the wrong war. The Sereth wanted us to destroy each other. Deho continued. They profit from conflict, from salvage, from slavery. They created incidents that made us hate each other. They turned accidents into attacks. They made sure we would fight instead of talk. My sisters died because of Sareth's sabotage, Arena said. Her voice was steady but filled with emotion. Not because humans are evil, not because humans wanted to hurt us, but because the Sareth wanted to start a war. And many humans died because we believed the Sareth's lies, Deho said. Because we thought the Velkari were aggressors. But they were victims just like us. The broadcast ended with a joint call for peace, for investigation, for justice against the real enemy. The response was immediate and overwhelming. On Earth, people took to the streets demanding an end to the war. On the Velkari homeworld, citizens called for their government to investigate the evidence. Scientists, historians, and independent investigators all confirmed that the evidence was real, not faked, not propaganda, real, but the Sareth Collective did not sit idle. They knew their crimes had been exposed. They knew that both the humans and Velkari would be coming for them. So they struck first. Sareth fleets attacked human colonies, Velkari outposts, civilian targets. They wanted to create chaos. They wanted to make the humans and Velkari so angry that they would start fighting each other again. But this time it didn't work. Because this time, both sides knew who the real enemy was. The Sareth are attacking the colony at Petra 3, Admiral Taeyang reported to Deho. We are sending ships to defend it, but we are still reorganizing, still recovering from the war. We do not have enough forces. We do, Arena said. She was in communication with both Deho and the Admiral now. The Velkari fleet is ready. We can help defend your colony. If you will accept our help. There was a pause. Then Admiral Taeyang nodded. We accept. Thank you, Princess Arena. It was the first time human and Velkari ships had fought together. The first time they had been allies instead of enemies. And it worked. They defended Petra 3 colony successfully. The Sareth retreated, leaving behind destroyed ships and a clear message. They would not give up easily. Over the next few weeks, more attacks came. The Sareth hit supply lines, ambushed convoys, destroyed stations. But every time they attacked, humans and Velkari fought back together. They learned each other's tactics. They covered each other's weaknesses. They became stronger as a team than they had ever been as separate forces. Emperor Thalen and Earth's president met in person for the first time. They signed a peace treaty, officially ending the war between their peoples. More than that, they signed an alliance, a promise to stand together against the Sareth Collective and any other threat that might come. We lost so much time fighting each other, the president said during the signing ceremony. So many lives wasted, but we will not waste any more. From this day forward, humanity and the Velkari Empire stand together. My daughters would have liked this, Emperor Thalen said quietly. They always believed in peace, in cooperation. I wish they could have lived to see it. They are seeing it, Arena said. She stood next to her father, wearing her armor proudly. They are watching, and they are proud. But signing a treaty was not enough. The Sareth still existed. They still had their base. They still had their fleets. They still posed a threat to both peoples and many others throughout the galaxy. We need to destroy them completely, General Vorek said during a war council. Cut off the head and the body will die. We need to find their main base first, Deho said. The one we found before was just an outpost. Their real headquarters is somewhere else. I can find it, Minji said. She had been analyzing Sareth ship movements for weeks. I have tracked their supply lines. I know where they are getting their resources. And I think I know where they are taking everything. There. She pointed to a location on the star map. The dead zone. A region of space that is supposed to be empty. But I am detecting ship movements there. Lots of them. The dead zone is dangerous, Kale said. The gravitational fields are unstable. Ships get lost there. Sensors do not work properly. Which makes it the perfect place to hide, Arena said. If the Sareth have their main base there, it would explain why no one has found them before. A plan was formed. A massive joint operation. Human and Velkari ships working together. The largest fleet either species had ever assembled. And leading them would be Deho and Arena, working together as joint commanders. The fleet entered the dead zone carefully. Navigation was difficult. The gravitational fields pulled ships off course. Sensors showed false readings. It was like flying blind through a storm. But they pushed forward. And then they found it. The Sereth main base. It was enormous, built into a cluster of asteroids protected by layers of shields and weapons. Ships surrounded it like a swarm of insects. There must be 1,000 ships, Hyejin said. Maybe more. This is going to be the biggest battle in history. Then let us make it count, Arena said. The battle began. Human and Velkari ships attacked in coordinated waves. They had practiced for weeks, learning how to fight as one force. The Sereth fought back fiercely. Their weapons were powerful and their ships were many. But they were not prepared for the level of cooperation between the humans and Velkari Daiho. Commanded the tactical operations from the Swift Wind. Arena commanded the strategic positioning from the Starfire. They spoke constantly, coordinating their forces, covering each other's weaknesses. Velkari Squadron 3 moved to Sector 7. Daiho ordered. Human fighters provide cover. Human cruisers focus fire on the command ship, Arena commanded. Velkari battleships take out their shield generators. The battle raged for hours. Ships exploded on both sides. The void filled with debris and fire. But slowly, steadily, the human Velkari alliance pushed forward. They broke through the Sereth defenses. They destroyed their weapon platforms. They disabled their shields. And then Daiho and Arena led a boarding team onto the command ship. They fought through corridors filled with Sereth warriors. They pushed toward the central control room. Where the Sereth leadership waited, the final battle was brutal. The Sereth leaders were skilled fighters. They used advanced weapons and tactics. But they were facing the best warriors from two species. Humans who never gave up, Velkari who fought with honor and skill. Together they were unstoppable. When the last Sereth leader fell, the battle was over. Their fleet scattered. Their base was destroyed. Their power was broken. The cost had been high. Many ships were lost. Many warriors died. But the Sereth collective was finished. They would never profit from war again. They would never enslave another person. They would never manipulate another species into conflict. As the fleet regrouped after the battle, Daiho and Arena found themselves alone on the bridge of the Starfire. They were both exhausted, both covered in dirt and blood. But they were alive, and they had won. We did it, Daiho said. It is over, is it? Arena asked. She looked at him with her silver eyes. The Sereth are defeated, but what about us? What happens now? Daiho knew what she was asking. The war that had brought them together was over. The enemy that had made them allies was defeated. What happened to them now? I do not know, he said honestly. But I know I do not want to go back to being enemies. Neither do I, Arena said. She stepped closer to him. When I first met you, I hated you. I wanted you dead. I blamed your kind for everything that had happened to my family. I know. I felt the same way about your people. But you showed me that I was wrong, Arena continued. You showed me that humans have honor, that they value life, that they can be trusted. She reached out and took his hand. You became my friend when I needed one most. You stood with me when everyone else turned against me. You helped me find the truth. You did the same for me, Daiho said. He held her hand gently. You taught me that the Velkari are not monsters, that your people value honor and family and peace, that we are not so different after all. Arena looked down at their joined hands. One human, one Velkari, once enemies. Now something more. Your kind killed my sisters, she said softly. The words were the same ones that had driven her to war. But now they sounded different, sad but not angry, not hateful. Daiho squeezed her hand. I know, and I am sorry. I will always be sorry for that. It was not your fault, Arena said. It was not even your people's fault. It was the Sereth. They took my sisters from me. They made me hate you. They made us all suffer.